The moment I looked in the mirror, my breath caught. The reflection staring back was mine, and yet it wasn't. Softened features framed by hair that fell in waves, eyes that seemed brighter, lips subtly tinted, and posture that carried a confidence I hadn't felt before. My hands trembled slightly as I adjusted the dress, feeling the unfamiliar fabric hug my shoulders and waist. Today wasn't just about dressing up, it was a test, a dare, a journey into discovering if I could be seen in a way the world had never witnessed. The heels on the floor gleamed like tiny towers of courage, and the thought of walking in them made my stomach twist with both excitement and fear. Every detail mattered: the dress, the shoes, the way I held my hands, the tilt of my head. And underneath all the anxiety, there was a spark I couldn't ignore, a thrilling curiosity about what it might feel like if my friends didn't recognize me at all. I inhaled deeply and whispered to myself, "Are you ready to be seen as someone else?" Then, with a mix of hesitation and exhilaration, I stepped into the persona I had created, letting the mirror witness the first steps of transformation. Sliding into the heels was harder than I expected. Each step felt precarious, my knees wobbling, my balance unsure, but I forced myself to walk, sway, and adjust until the movements began to feel natural. Every tiny click against the floor was a reminder that today, every gesture would be noticed, every shift in posture scrutinized, even if my friends didn't recognize me. I caught my reflection in the mirror again and studied the person looking back. This wasn't just makeup or clothing, it was a careful choreography of identity, a dance between fear and curiosity. The softened jawline, the curve of my waist, the subtle lift in my chest, it all contributed to a version of me that had always existed somewhere deep inside, hidden until now. My phone buzzed. A message from my best friend. "See you soon." My stomach flipped. When they saw me, would they recognize me? Or would I truly be invisible in plain sight? The thought sent a rush of adrenaline through me. Today, I wasn't just stepping into a dress, I was stepping into discovery, into courage, and into the possibility of being someone wholly new. The walk to the cafe felt surreal. Every step in the heels was a reminder of the careful balance I had to maintain, both physically and mentally. I kept my eyes forward, stealing glimpses of my reflection in shop windows, fascinated by how the light softened my features and how the sway of the dress seemed to carry a confidence I was only beginning to feel. A sudden gust of wind lifted a strand of hair across my face, and I brushed it back almost instinctively, my fingers lingering against my cheek a moment longer than necessary. The reflection staring back wasn't entirely unfamiliar. It was me, but also a version I had never allowed anyone to see. My heart thumped in my chest, part fear, part exhilaration. I was about to meet my friends in this form, and I wasn't sure what would happen if they truly didn't recognize me. The bus stop came into view, and I climbed aboard, careful to keep my movements natural yet deliberate. Each adjustment of my dress, each tilt of my head, every subtle gesture felt like a rehearsal for something larger than myself. I was both actor and audience, performing for my friends while witnessing my own transformation in real time. The day had only just begun, and already it felt like a revelation. When I stepped off the bus, the familiar streets looked strangely foreign, filtered through this new lens of identity I had carefully crafted. My pulse quickened as I neared the cafe, anticipation mingling with fear. Each step felt heavier now, not from the heels, but from the weight of possibility. My friends had no idea who I truly was today, and the thought both terrified and thrilled me. I arrived and froze for a heartbeat. They were already there, chatting and laughing, the image of comfort and familiarity. I took a deep breath, adjusted my dress, brushed my hair back one last time, and approached. Every instinct screamed caution, but a daring spark inside me urged forward. I could feel the delicate line I was walking, appear confident yet unrecognizable, believable yet transformed. As I stepped closer, a flicker of doubt pierced me. Could I really pull this off? Could I inhabit this version of myself so fully that even my closest friends would be none the wiser? My heartbeat was loud in my ears, my stomach knotted, but beneath it all, there was a pulse of excitement, a reminder that some of the most profound discoveries come from stepping boldly into the unknown. Their laughter faltered for a fraction of a second as I joined the group, and a spike of panic ran through me. I forced a smile, tilted my head gently, and let my hands rest gracefully at my sides, small gestures I had practiced countless times in front of the mirror. "Hey, everyone," I said, my voice just slightly lighter, softening in a way that felt both strange and exhilarating. Their eyes scanned me briefly, confusion flickering, but it passed quickly. Maybe it was the outfit, the new hairstyle, or just a change in mood. They didn't suspect a thing. Relief surged through me, tempered by the thrill of anonymity. Every laugh I joined, every gesture I made, was a delicate dance between pretending and revealing, a tightrope I had chosen to walk willingly. Beneath the surface, I felt an electric pulse of pride. I wasn't just hiding or playing a role. I was exploring a side of myself I had never allowed to exist in public. Being unrecognized by the people who knew me best was intoxicating, terrifying, and liberating all at once. Today, I wasn't just existing, I was discovering. As we moved toward a nearby park, I felt the unfamiliar weight of attention that wasn't quite on me but hovered close enough to make every movement feel significant. The sway of the dress, the click of the heels, even the tilt of my head had to be precise, natural yet intentional. I was inhabiting this persona fully, and it felt thrilling to exist in this new space where recognition wasn't a given. A pang of anxiety hit when one of my friends looked directly at me, their eyes narrowing slightly. My chest tightened. Did I slip? Did they notice? I forced a light laugh, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear, hoping the gesture appeared effortless. When the moment passed without comment, a quiet rush of triumph filled me. I was doing it, I was being someone else, yet the experience was revealing something deeply authentic about myself. Walking on, I realized that this experiment wasn't merely about appearances. It was about courage, about testing boundaries, about embracing a side of me that had always existed quietly beneath the surface. Each passing second in this disguise was a lesson in self-discovery, and even the fear that lingered only made the exhilaration more potent. By mid-afternoon, I had begun to sink into the persona, each movement more natural, each gesture less forced. The park seemed transformed, too, illuminated not just by sunlight but by the thrill of anonymity. Every laugh I shared, every casual glance I offered, reinforced a feeling I hadn't anticipated: freedom. Freedom to exist in a way that was simultaneously playful, daring, and true to a hidden part of myself. I sat on a bench, adjusting my posture, letting my hands rest delicately on my lap, noticing how the dress draped perfectly. My friends chatted around me, completely unaware, and a pang of wonder ran through me. Being unseen in plain sight wasn't invisibility, it was power. I could explore facets of my personality that normally felt constrained by expectation, and it was intoxicating. And yet, the tension never fully disappeared. Every word, every expression had to balance the line between the person I was pretending to be and the truth I was learning about myself. It was exhausting, exhilarating, and enlightening all at once. With each passing minute, I felt closer to a realization I hadn't expected. This was no longer just a game, it was an awakening. A reflection in a nearby puddle caught my attention, and I stopped mid-step. The image staring back made my breath hitch, soft curves, delicate features, and a poise I had never seen on myself before. I bent slightly, studying every detail, and a shiver of joy ran through me. This wasn't just makeup or clothing, this was a version of me I had never allowed the world, or even myself, to witness. My friends continued their chatter, oblivious, and I felt a rush of exhilaration. The thrill of being unrecognized was deeper than I expected. I wasn't merely pretending, I was discovering. Every smile, every tilt of my head, every gesture of my hands reinforced this new identity, and yet, beneath it, I could feel the quiet pulse of authenticity emerging. Even as a soft tension lingered, what if someone noticed? What if the illusion broke? The joy of inhabiting this self far outweighed the fear. The reflection in the puddle wasn't a stranger. It was me, liberated and alive, dancing on the edge of discovery and daring. The day was shaping into something far more profound than I had imagined. As the sun began to dip, casting long golden shadows across the park, I felt a mix of triumph and melancholy. The exhilaration of being unrecognized had settled into a quiet, steady joy. I could walk, talk, laugh, and move freely in this persona, and it felt right. The heels, the dress, the makeup, they weren't disguises anymore. They were extensions of something inside me I had been afraid to reveal. I glanced at my friends, their faces animated and relaxed, completely unaware of the truth. And in that invisibility, I found clarity. This wasn't about tricking anyone, it was about daring to step fully into a side of myself that had long been silent. The day had been a test, an adventure, and a revelation all at once. Yet, even in the joy, a subtle tension lingered. The moment I would remove the dress, the heels, the carefully curated persona, would that newfound confidence fade? Or had I unlocked a permanent understanding of myself, one that would remain even when the physical transformation ended? My heartbeat quickened, a reminder that the journey wasn't over, not by a long shot. The park had emptied, leaving only the soft rustle of leaves and the distant hum of cars. I walked slowly, savoring the final moments of this experiment, feeling every sway of the dress, every confident click of the heels, every subtle gesture that had become second nature. The reflection in a nearby window caught my eye, and I paused, breath hitching. The person staring back was me, unmistakably, yet transformed, softer, bolder, alive in a way I hadn't known I could be. A quiet pride bloomed inside me. Pretending had become revealing. Being unseen had taught me to see myself. The emotional arc of the day, the nervousness, the exhilaration, the joy, the fear, had coalesced into a profound understanding. Identity isn't static, and courage often comes in unexpected forms. I had walked among friends unrecognized, and in doing so, I had recognized myself more clearly than ever. Even as the evening shadows stretched long, I felt a certainty settle over me. This was no longer just a temporary persona. Something inside me had shifted, a part of my identity unlocked, daring to exist freely even outside the dress and heels. The day's lessons would linger far longer than the clothing or makeup ever could. Walking home, the quiet streets mirrored the calm that had begun to settle in me. Each step in the heels was now practiced, confident, graceful, as if the persona I had embodied all day had fused with my own movements. I reflected on every smile I had given, every laugh I had joined, and every glance I had shared while my friends remained oblivious. The thrill of being unseen had taught me more about courage, presence, and self-acceptance than I could have imagined. Passing by a shop window, I caught my reflection one more time. I paused, studying the curve of my lips, the gentle lift of my chin, the subtle shine in my eyes. It was me, fully me, but amplified, liberated, and somehow more real than I had ever felt. Pretending to be someone else had revealed layers of confidence and authenticity I didn't know I possessed. I had become my own audience, my own mirror, and in that reflection, I felt pride and joy ripple through me. Even as I neared home, a gentle awareness settled in. The transformation was more than skin deep. It had changed the way I understood myself, the way I carried myself, and the way I could step into the world with quiet, fearless assurance. The day had been a revelation, and its impact would linger far beyond the heels and dress I would soon set aside. I finally reached my front door, the soft click of the lock echoing the finality of the day. Inside, I carefully hung the dress back in the closet and set the heels neatly by the door. The physical transformation was over, but the emotional one lingered, vivid and unshakable. I stood in front of the mirror one last time, tracing the lines of my face, the curve of my lips, the sparkle in my eyes. The reflection staring back wasn't just a costume or disguise. It was me, fully present, fully alive, and undeniably seen. A quiet pride swelled in my chest. Pretending to be someone else had revealed truths about myself I hadn't dared confront before. I had discovered courage, poise, and a joy that existed even when no one else could recognize me. The experience had shown me that identity could be explored, expressed, and embraced in ways I had never imagined, and that sometimes, to truly understand yourself, you have to step boldly into a persona you've never tried before.